ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायण स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतमृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् आम त्वामनुसन्धामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमो अस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे फुल अरविंद आयतन पत्र नेत्र येन तव्या भारत तैल पूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपः परपान्न पारिजाताय तोत्र वेत्र एकपानये ज्ञान मुद्राय कृष्णाय गीता अमृत दुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्सा सुधीर भोगता दुग्धम गीता अमृतम महत् वसुदेव सुतम देवम कंस चानूर मर्दनम देवकी परमानंदम कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं भीष्म द्रोण तटा जयद्रथ जला गांधार नीलोत्पला शल्ये ग्राहवती कृपेन वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा दुर्योधन अवर्तनी सोतीर्णा खलु पांडवै रन्नदी कैवर्तका केशवा पाराशरे वत्सरोजमलं गीता अर्थगंधोटकं नानाख्यानक केसरं हरिकथा संबोधन अबोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पदे रह पेपिये मानम मुदा भूयाद भारत पंकजम कलिमल प्रध्वंसी न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघ्यते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे परमानंद माधवम् यं ब्रह्म वरुण इंद्र रुद्र मरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्ये स्तवे वेदै सांगपद क्रमोपनिषदै गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानवस्थे तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यन्तं न विदुसुर असुरगणः देवाय तस्मै नमः. Couple of weeks ago we started chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. And we ended our last class with verse number 7. And if you recall that this chapter starts with Arjun's question. And in a nutshell, he is asking Lord Krishna that which one is better? Should we worship God in a formless God or a God with a form? Which one is better? Which one is as a Yog Yukta, united with God? How do we do that? So Lord Krishna said, it's not the form or the formless which matters. It is the qualities we need to cultivate in our personality. That is the main point. But then he also said, for embodied people, people who are in the body or people who recognize themselves to the body, it is easier to worship a form of God. Okay, so that's where we ended our class, where he said that Tesham aham sam udhartaha mrityu sansar sagarat bhavamena chirat parth mei aveshit chetasam, whose minds are set on me, wary I become along apart, the savior out of the ocean of finite experiences. Okay, so and conditions he put in there, or the qualifications to become that kind of a devotee. He said, worship me, that means love me, renouncing all actions in me, regarding me as the supreme goal, meditating on me with a single-minded yoga or devotion. Okay, so this was number 6 and 7. That's what we studied last time. Okay, so any questions so far or any input you have? Otherwise, we'll start with verse number 8 today.
I have one question actually that just kind of occurred to me as you were saying that embodied people should focus on a form. It means that when we are unembodied, when we leave this body, for example, in the transitional stage, uh, as far as I understand, there's no recourse to meditating and destroying our karma, right?
We can't even do anything, yes.
Okay. That's what
Only creation or the extinction of the karmas happen in a human body or
right.
in a body.
Right. That's what I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. When we leave the body, according to our karmas, we are traveling wherever we are going, according to our own vasanas, our desires, our karmas. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
So,
all right.
there's no change then.
Okay.
Change can happen only when we are embodied. Okay. So number 8. Mayi eva mana adhyasva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivashyasi mayi eva at adharvam na sanshaya. Mayi, on me. Ev means only, manaha, the mind. Adhyasva, fix. Mayi, in me, buddhim, the intellect. Niveshya, place. Nivashyasi, you shall live. Mayi means in me, Ev alone, At Udharvam, hereafter. No sanshaya, no doubt. So Lord Krishna, not only over here, other places also, he has given us this kind of a directive. Fix your mind on me only. Keyword is only, the Ev. Place your intellect in me. Then thereafter you shall no doubt live in me alone. Okay. So meditation or the worship is not a physical act. It is really a subtle art developed by the inner personality in human beings. Only human beings worship. Okay? Animals can't. They don't know how to. Human beings. So this is a art, a very subtle art, that is not just the physical body. Sure, physical body we need to train, because when we are worshipping physically, the little children, they watch us, they start copying us too. But ultimately it is the mind and the intellect which really matters. So that's why he says, fix your mind on me only and place your intellect in me. And we know that mind cannot contemplate on any theme or anything that cannot be conditioned by the senses. Because all the input is happening through the senses. So that's why our great rishis, they just said that make temples beautiful. Eyes want to go there to see that beautiful form of God. We burn the incense there. We light the candles there. There's always some kind of a music there, whether it's a little simple bell or whether it's a full orchestra. So with the help of the senses, we are attracted to that place, and then ultimately we are supposed to, it's not just for the senses alone. With the help of the senses, our mind should be absorbed. See, first we should know what senses are, what mind is, what intellect is. Those are all part of our personality. See, Atma is part of God. Atma cannot change. It's the same everywhere all the time. But these other layers of our personality, they just distract us. So Lord Krishna very clearly says, just make sure that you fix your mind on me only. Place your intellect in me. See, just like when we go to the temple, whether in our personal temple or whether in a public temple we go to, what do? Tradition is in a Hindu temple, we don't take shoes inside. We wash our hands also. And whatever we want to offer, We wash it first. We want to make sure there's nothing wrong in there, nothing prohibited, nothing rotten. Even if we are offering some flowers, we make sure that the most beautiful flower, we want to offer it to God. If we are offering some food, we make sure that it's the best food we have made because we are offering it to our Lord. Over here, he says, offer your mind to me and offer your intellect to me. So that means that your mind has to be clean. Mind has to be still. And the intellect also the same way. Because mind could be full of tamasic qualities or rajasic qualities. No, we don't offer that kind of a mind. God will not accept that. God is the purest of the pure, the best of the best. So we want to offer the similar kind of a thing. Even though God is beyond the gunas, but with our effort, we can reach to the satvikta at least. So when we sit in our temple to meditate or even to do the worship, the prayers, make sure the mind is calm, mind is pure. There's no jealousy in there. There's no frustration in there. There's no agitation in there. There's no hatred in there. Clean mind. And how about the intellect? When we reach to the 18th chapter, we'll see that Lord Krishna is giving us a detailed definition of intellect, which is sattvic, intellect, which is rajasic, and intellect, which is tamasic. So as a devotee, as a lover of God, we got to make sure that the intellect which nature has given it to us, we keep bringing it to that highest level. Only then it will be good enough for God. You will see that in chapter 18, in verse number 30. Lord Krishna says, oh Arjun, that intellect is in the mode of goodness. That's a sattvic, which understands the path of work and the path of renunciation. So that means what to do, what not to do. Intellect decides. Right and wrong action, fear and fearlessness, bondage and liberation. So that means there's a clarity in the intellect, in a sattvic intellect. So if we want to offer our intellect or if we want to fix our intellect, we got to make sure that our intellect is at that level. If our intellect is rajasic, he gives us a definition of that also. We'll go through it in detail when we reach there. But right now, let me just give you the definition of a rajasic intellect. That intellect is in the mode of passion, which cannot distinguish between dharam and adharam. That means there's a confusion. And right and wrong action. What is right? What is wrong action? And lower than that intellect is that intellect which is in the mode of ignorance, tamsikta, which accepts adharam as dharma and thinks everything to be that which it is not. Thinking it is wrong, but thinking it's right. It's a complete veiling of the intellect. So over here, going back to this chapter, Lord Krishna is telling us, fix your intellect, not a tamasic intellect. There won't be any fixing with a tamasic intellect, only with a sattvic intellect. That's why the Vedic seers, what do they say? They say, anitya anatma dukheshu viprehe maitre hayam. They say that there are three defects of the intellect. And these three defects of the intellect are called viparya. And we need to clean that all up. If we don't, as a human being, we are supposed to clean the defects of our intellect while keeping the body healthy also, while keeping the mind clean also. But defects of the intellect, what are those defects? Three defects. Number one, we are eternal souls, but we think of ourselves to be perishable body. That is number one viparya. Number two defect. Although all the objects of the world are perishable, we think they will remain with us forever. And we busily accumulate them day and night. Because intellect is the one which is telling us. So our intellect has a defect in it that we run after the perishables. And we never think about the eternal. And the third, according to the scriptures I'm telling you, the defect of the intellect is, although the pursuit of sensual pleasures only result in misery in the long run, we still chase them in the hope that we will find happiness. We want to go somewhere because we want to be happy. And we did not get that kind of a happiness which we were looking for. But again, our intellect says, no, I will go somewhere else. Maybe I'll find happiness there. That is a viparya. Looking for happiness. There's nothing wrong in looking for the happiness because our real nature is happiness. But we are looking and thinking that happiness is somewhere or in something or some person, and that is a viparya. So three defects. And the gravity of our problem is further aggravated because our intellect is habituated to this kind of thinking. Not just this lifetime, but innumerable lifetimes. We just kept strengthening these defects of our intellect. So that's why the yogi gurus, they say, surrender your intellect. And what do they really mean when they say surrender your intellect? They say, think in accordance with the teachings of the scriptures and the Guru's words. That is surrendering the intellect. The world is telling us that worldly pursuits are the goal. Scriptures and the Gurus are telling us, no, you are eternal, you are part of God. Pay attention to that. So when I read this, Mayev mana adhyasva, may buddhim niveshaya. That doesn't mean that we don't have to do anything with the intellect. That really means polish up your intellect so that it's worthy of surrendering to your God or the Guru. And for that, we have to study the scriptures. Spend some time with the Guru. And that Lord Krishna talked about earlier in 4th chapter. But when we spend time with the Guru, what do we really do? Guru is the one who can really polish our intellect, get the doubts out. Guru is the one who removes the ignorance, the darkness from us, so that our intellect is that polished, that it is worthy of putting at the feet of God. Okay? So, Mayev mana adhyasva, may buddhim niveshaya, nivashyasi mayev At udharvanna sanshaya. Because it seems like such a big promise Lord Krishna is making to us. That put your mind and intellect, absorb it in me, and your job is done. He says some people may not agree with it. So he says, no doubt about it. So it's like a real big, strong punch he's making over there after this statement. Because some people might think that it's an exaggerated statement. But Lord Krishna is reassuring us by affirming it directly. Then he says, Atha chitam samadhutam na shaknoshi maistiram abhyas yogen tata mam ichha aptum dhananjaya. Ath means if. Chitam means the mind, the deeper part of mind. Samadhatum, to fix, like a samadhi, samadhum. Na shaknoshi, na, you are not able to. Shaknoshi means are able. Mai in me, sthiram steadily. Abhyas yogen, by the yoga of constant practice. Tatah means then, mam means me, ichha, wish, ap tum, to reach, dhananjay, that is Arjun. If you are unable to fix your mind steadily upon me, then by the yoga of constant practice, seek to reach me, O Dhananjay. So verse 8, he says, we need to do that. Suppose somebody cannot do it. He says, practice. Practice. Just like if somebody says that I cannot walk properly, we say practice walking properly. With practice, constant practice, we do anything, whether it's reading properly, speaking properly, sitting properly, exercising, cooking, any worldly, in this worldly sphere also practice makes a person perfect. So that's how it is in the spiritual area also. So if you are unable to fix your mind steadily upon me, then by the yoga of constant practice, abhyas, seek to reach me. Okay, so this is like an alternative method of self-unfoldment. The first one is, yeah, fix your mind and intellect. If you cannot do it, practice to do that. Okay, so yoga of constant practice. And we have seen that in chapter 6, verse number 26, what did Lord Krishna say to Arjuna? When Arjuna said, I cannot do it, my mind is too strong, it's too turbulent. It doesn't come under my control. He says, wherever the mind wanders, from there let him subdue it and bring it under the sway of the self alone. Self means the Atma. So mind should be in my control. Mind likes to wander away, bring it back, and that's called practice. So go back to chapter 6 and try to see what does it tell us to do? Practice. So now we are further along in this great textbook of self-development. So that's why he says that, hey, you have learned how to do it, but still if you cannot do it, practice more. Practice more. So you can go back on verse number 26, chapter number 6. So over here, Lord Krishna is advising us not to get enticed away by the mind from our divine pursuit. So the divine pursuit has to be very firm in us. See, the firmness is needed. That resolve only we can make. So make that resolve and practice. So the meditator must stand apart from his mind. See, meditation is to control the mind. But who is controlling the mind? I am. So I have to stand apart. And we got to learn how to identify ourselves with that power which possesses the ability to rule over and direct our mind. We never paid much attention. We paid a lot of attention in the secular world, not much attention to this power which we are. And Lord Krishna is telling us to do this. This is bhakti. Bhakti is not just only singing and chanting. Bhakti is fixing your mind on God, pouring your intellect at the feet of Lord. That's bhakti. So strive hard. That's what abhyas is. Strive hard. Make a resolution. Doesn't matter how long it takes. This is the goal. Okay. So our mind gets so well disciplined with this practice that we'll be able to practice the immediate method which he is telling us in the previous verse. But now look at the generosity of this great teacher. He says, if you cannot practice, some people cannot practice. What should they do? He says, abhyase api asamarthaha asimat karam parma bhav mad artham api karmani kurvam siddhim avapyasi. Abhyase, in practice, api also asamartha, not capable. You're not capable of sitting down and practicing. Or you're not able to control your mind. Your mind is so turbulent. You are doing the practice, but it's not coming under your control. Asamarat. Asi, you are. Mat karam parmaha, intent on doing actions for my sake. Bhav means be. Mad artham, for my sake. See, we do a lot of things, but we do it for our sake. Makes me feel good, I'd like to do it. But he says, do it for my sake. Karmani, actions. Kurvan, by doing. Siddhim, perfection. Avapyasi, you shall attain. If you are unable even to practice Abhyas Yoga, be you intent on performing actions for my sake. Even by doing actions for my sake, you shall attain perfection. Okay, remember, the first one is absorb your mind and intellect into God. That doesn't mean you don't do your daily duties. You keep on doing what you are doing, but you are doing it. Your mind and intellect is constantly absorbed in God. Can do it, practice doing it. If you cannot practice it, then he says, whatever you are doing, do it for my sake. This is we learned in chapter number 5. Go back to that chapter. Gyan Karam Sannyas Yoga. Gyan is, God is everywhere. Karam, you must do. Sannyas, let go of the results. They will come to you, but don't get absorbed. Your mind absorbed into the results. So that is in the 5th chapter, we learned the technique to do this. So if you are unable even to practice Abhyas Yoga, be you intent on performing actions for my sake. Even by doing actions for my sake, you shall attain perfection. He's not saying that you will get a lower grade. He says you will still get the perfection if you can do something like that. So this is the thoroughness of the Vedic scriptures, which consists in suggesting varying, exhaustive techniques of self-development. Because those rishis, they understood. All of us have been traveling for countless lifetimes. We have different aptitudes. different strengths, different weaknesses. So they just gave different means of attaining the same goal to everybody, to all of us. So, in other words, so many different paths, but goal is the same. So it's not like do it or else you are going to hell. No, there's no hell word in this philosophy. Okay. Some people, it might take longer. They might have to just come back here again and again to learn the lessons. But everybody is going back sooner or later. Okay. So Abhyas Yoga. So this, to me, I think this is a very practical path for an ordinary, average person. Doing the actions, whatever they're doing, for God. See, it's almost like if there's a salesman working for a big corporation, and when he goes to the customers, he's talking always that we will do it. Even though he's just working for a small income, maybe a commission or some regular income also, but not, he doesn't own the company, but he can still speak with that kind of authority because he is speaking on behalf of the firm. That we will do it, we shall try, we are producing, we are responsible, that we will. The same thing, if we can just train our mind, whatever we are doing, we don't have to say it, but inside feel that I am just representing God. It's a God's creation. Everything belongs to Him. I'm just a small instrument in this big creation of God. Whatever I'm doing, whether I'm walking, teaching, learning, cooking, sleeping, mothering, grandmothering, or anything we are doing it for God. We are representing Him. Then we'll be more careful in our actions with our words. So that's what Lord Krishna is telling us to do. So we are agent of the divine, executing His will in all our external activities. Okay, and what will happen with that? The rishis say that the yogis who have lived life like that, they say that we draw to ourselves the miraculous powers. Then you don't feel alone. Your efficiency increases. What you say, it comes true. Because you say that I'm doing it, I'm saying it for God. God will have to make it come true. So miracles happen then. There is more dexterity in that kind of a person's life. There's more confidence. There's a more courage in all the undertakings, big or small. That's why Lord Krishna told us earlier, one of the definition of yoga, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Okay, dexterity in action. And how does that happen? God gives, when we connect ourselves with God, we say we are doing it for God, not for ourselves. I still remember when this place we bought for this ashram. It was a big endeavor. Way beyond our pocket. I still remember, called Guruji. I didn't even say anything to him. He heard from other family members that, yeah, it's a big ashram. I mean, he knew ashram, but I did not say it's too much or anything. He knew. His words to me, they still echo in my mind. He said, if you think that you are doing it for God. You are serving God by being here teaching. There's nothing impossible for God. Whether it's a monetary or at a physical level or a the government codes also, everything worked out fine. So we got to do our part, that whatever we are doing, we should not think that we are doing it for ourselves. We are doing it for God. So yogi gurus, they give us this kind of a confidence also. They give us the direction also. They give us the guidance also. And from their own life, they give us examples also. So this is what Lord Krishna is telling us. Change the internal consciousness. Cultivate the intention that you are doing it for the pleasure of Lord. This way, naturally, you will stop engaging in selfish activities. Because if you're doing it for God, where is your selfishness? Shouldn't be there. If selfishness comes, whether it's for your own profit, monetary profit, or your image profit, then you are not doing it for God. Okay? So you got to stop engaging in selfish activities and move towards the devotional attitude. That is very important. Okay, so he says, even by doing actions for my sake, you shall attain perfection. So dedicating ourselves totally unto the Lord in and through all our activities. We can start doing it in the morning when we get up. So another day God has given us to do the seva. Another day. And suppose we can't even do this. What is the fourth alternative according to Lord Krishna? अथ एतत् अपि अशक्तः असि कर्तुं मत योगम आश्रितः सर्व कर्म फल त्यागम ततः कुरु यत आत्मवान. Ath means if. See how all these verses are connected. Okay, if you cannot do that, then do this. If you cannot do that, do this. So it's like a beautiful garland made out of flowers. So if etat this api also ashaktaha, unable, asi you are kartum to do, mat yogam my yoga, ashrita refuged in, sarava karam phal tyagam, renunciation of the fruits of all actions. Tat means then, kuru means do, yat atmavan, self controlled. If you are unable to do even this, then taking refuge in me, self-controlled, renounce the fruits of all actions. And where did we learn this? In Karam Yoga chapter. You remember? Chapter number 3. If you want to become a Karam Yogi, do not do the actions for the sake of the fruits. Do it because it's your duty and responsibility. This is the minimum we have to do if we have started on this path. We cannot say that I'm not going to do it. Then you have not enrolled into the school of self-perfection. This is the minimum you have to do. So if somebody says, no, I don't see any improvement, that means you have not understood it properly. Duties must be done, but not for your sake. You can do it for others. You can do it for the society. If you reach little above, do it for God. See God in everybody. And if you have reached even further higher, offer your mind and intellect also to God. This is what Lord Krishna is teaching us. Okay, so advice at a certain level, can do it. He just brought us a notch down and a notch down and a notch down, but this is it. Nothing below this. Okay? So the self-dedication unto the Lord in all activities is, he advises us. Very powerful alternative. In this verse, verse number 11, abandon the fruits of actions, taking refuge in me, be self-controlled. Self-controlled means all this, the lower part of yourself should be in your control. Your senses should be in your control. Okay? So, see, even though this fact is very well known to majority of us, but we keep on wasting our energies into the expected fruit. We waste a lot of energy. Whenever we are anxious, whenever we are brooding over the future, we are wasting our energy. The energy which could have been directed towards or put into the right channel. That future may never come, and we just keep on worrying about it. So that's why Lord Krishna is urging us here only to curb these wasteful imaginations and live vitally, sincerely, fully, dynamically in the present. So whenever he says, don't worry about the fruit, that's what he means. Do not waste your energy. Shut off all the negative imaginations about the future. So this act can integrate our personality and make our mind single pointed. So all of us are, we should try to practice this. Watch our mind. Is it going towards the future? Is it worried about the future, or is it just brooding over the past? Okay. So if the mind is thinly coated with vasanas, we can practice what he has been telling us. If the vasanas are very thick, then it's hard to practice. So that's why we got to keep on eliminating our vasanas also. We got to make sure that we keep an eye on the vasanas. Okay, we don't want to thicken them more. So yoga of practice, yoga of action, karma phal tyag, all these terms you are well versed in from the previous chapters. Okay, so now in the next verse, he's giving us a sequence of ideas arranged in a descending order. Same thing he's talking, but with different terms over here. Shreya hi jnanam abhyasat, jnanat dhyanam vishishyate, dhyanat karma phal tyaga, tyagat shantim anantaram. Shreya. Shreya means better. He means indeed. Jnanam is the knowledge. Abhyasat, the practice. Jnanat, then knowledge. Dhyanam, meditation. Vishishyate is better. Like a vishesh, vishishyate. Dhyanat, then meditation. Karam phal tyagaha, the renunciation of the fruits of actions. Tyagat, from renunciation. Shantihi, peace. Anantaram, immediately. Knowledge is indeed better than practice. Meditation is better than knowledge. Renunciation of fruits of actions is better than meditation. Peace immediately follows renunciation. So this practice here means the mechanical ritual practice he's talking about. So knowledge is indeed better than practice. If you're doing some ritualistic practice, you need to have some gyan also. Meditation is better than knowledge. So if you have a knowledge about God, you better absorb your mind into that divine power. Renunciation of fruits of action is better than meditation. You're sitting in the meditation, but you cannot renounce the fruits of your actions. You cannot meditate to that level. Even when you are meditating, if you're thinking what I'm going to get out of it, no. So renunciation of the fruits of the action, that is needed. And what happens from that renunciation? Peace follows. Shanti. Shanti. Because ultimately we are all looking for that Shanti. Okay? So meditation can never be possible for an individual in whom all energies and steadiness of mind are shattered by the agitations created by the fruits of actions. So in that sense, he's saying that renunciation of the fruits of the action is better. Start from there. Okay? So Lord Krishna gives a greater place of importance in the ladder of ideas, the renunciation of the fruits of actions. That's where we need to start. Everything else will follow beautifully. Okay? Because these days we talk about meditation so much. We think that by doing a meditation we will attain supremehood. But we need to do some preliminary adjustments in our inner personality. Okay, and this will help remove worldliness. See, normally what is inside us? What is the vasana? The thicker layers of vasana is the worldliness. So this kind of a philosophy will help remove worldliness from the mind and strengthen the intellect for the subsequent higher stages. Okay, so the worldliness, this is the dirt we need to get rid of. So then he says, peace immediately follows a renunciation. There's a dynamic quietness, calmness, which will feel in us. Okay, and when this knowledge we feel in this on our seat of meditation, we will see that assured success in this journey. Okay. Now, the rest of the chapter, from verse number 13 all the way to verse number 20. It's a very, very small chapter. In fact, this is the smallest, one of the smallest chapters. He is giving us the moral and ethical codes of behavior. Some people call it commandments, but these are physical attitudes, mental balance, and intellectual steadiness of the best of his devotees. That's what he's telling us. So in other words, you can see that he is telling us these are the qualities you need to cultivate if you want to see me, just like Arjun saw me. If you want to really improve on the path of this ladder, cultivate these qualities. So this portion, from verse number 13 all the way towards the end of this chapter, this not only becomes a direct answer to the question raised by Arjun in the first verse, in the opening of this chapter, but it also gives us a positive perfections to be achieved. If we want to get better, and if you don't know how to get better, write these down. I think from the ashram we have a handout of all these qualities, but we'll talk about each and every one of them in detail. So it is our attitude, towards the living creatures, its attitude towards our duty also, attitude towards not only the animals, the humans, the entire creation. So the picture of a true devotee for Arjun's understanding and through Arjun for our understanding according to Lord Krishna. So correct mode of conduct and a way of life for all the seekers. So let's look at it quickly. Just these two verses, I'll just give you only the direct translation of it, and then we'll talk about it in detail next week, because I know you all have to celebrate a special day today, a Father's Day. So I'll let you go on time. Okay. So number 13. Adveshtaha sarvabhutanam maitri karuna evacha nirmamaha nirahankara samdukh sukha kshame santushtaha sattam yogi yatatma dृढ़ निश्चया मयि अर्पित मना बुद्धि ya madbhakta same priya. So these two verses go together. He who hates no creature, adveshta, not hating, sarvabhutanam, all creatures, maitri, friendly, karuna, compassionate, ev, even, cha means and, nirmamaha, without mindness, nirahankara, without egoism, samdukh sukha, balanced in pleasure and pain, kshami, forgiving, santushtaha, contented, sattam, ever steady, yogi is a practitioner, yat atma, self-controlled, dृढ़ निश्चयः, possessed of firm conviction. Firm conviction. This firm conviction is very, very talked about in our scriptures. I'll talk about this maybe next time or maybe in Wednesday class. There is a Vedic saying, sa yat kamo bhavati tat kartru bhavati, yat kartru bhavati tad karam kurute, yat karam kurute tad abhinishpadyate. So this is about the firm resolve. So this Rishi says, when you have intense desire, you will make a determined resolve. When you have a determined resolve, you will put an intense effort. When you put an intense effort, that's how you will become. So that's why Lord Krishna is talking about dृढ़ निश्चय over here, a firm resolve. You say, good quality to have. Mayi arpit mana buddhi, with mind and intellect, surrender to me. That's what we talked about today earlier. Ya means who, mat bhakta, my devotee, sa me priya. Sa means he, me means to me, priya means dear. Ever content, steady in meditation, self-controlled, possessed of firm conviction, with mind and intellect dedicated to me, he, my devotee, is dear to me. With that kind of a love, Lord Krishna is telling us that my devotee, it's not that who just sits and sings my glories all day long or stands on one foot, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep. No, that's not the condition he's putting on us. He says, have these qualities in you, then you are very dear to me. And these are only 11 qualities in these two verses of all the 36 qualities. Altogether, there are 36 of them. The beauty is, even if we are firmly established in one quality, we'll see the color of the rest of the qualities are shining in our personality. So we'll talk about this next week in detail, but remember that rest of this chapter, very clear and direct guidelines for a devotee who wants to reach to that level where Arjun reached in the previous chapter. He could see God everywhere. He felt the oneness with God. Okay, and this is the goal for all of us. So we'll stop it here. And if you have any question, please do ask. But we'll try to finish this whole chapter next week in going through all these qualities. If you have any question, please do ask either today or next time or any time. So I just find this chapter amazing, that how much effort Rishi Vyas put in for us, so that we can have a more clarity. What do we need to do? There's no vagueness about it. All we have to do is to work on our personality, on our mind, intellect, codes of conduct, our behavior. That's all we have to do. Very clear guidelines. Okay, and universal. You will see that at the end, Lord Krishna says, this is the dharam. He talks about, he says it's a sanatan dharam, eternal dharam. And eternal dharam means for everybody. Not for certain sects. Not if you go to a church or not go to a church, or worship this form of a god or not that form of a god. No, it's just like if our human beings, every human being, and we all have that internal desire to get connected, feel peaceful. And he says that's how you can do it. So I'll stop talking now. So if you have a question, please do ask. Or if you have something you did not understand or something you think you understood differently, you can talk about that too. And but if you don't have any question, then I'll ask Manny to play a little chanting so that we can meditate and end the class.
We have two people, Kim and Jay.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go
Kim?
first?
Okay. I have two questions, Hershey. First, you said that a Tamasic mind accepts Adharm as Dharm. Could you please give an example of Adharm? What that means?
Adharam is opposite of dharam. Dharam is see, that's what you're going to learn in the rest of the chapter, what dharam is. Not hurting anybody, not killing anybody. Okay? So, not being jealous, not being attached. So, all those things, if you cannot do it, then it becomes adharam. So, dharam is the righteousness, and adharam is opposite of that. And we'll learn a lot about it in the next section also. Okay? He calls it a demonic behavior. So dharam is the qualities of which are called devik, good behavior. And adharam is demonic, lying, cheating. And we all know that every religion, every sect talk about it. Or every parents, they teach their children not to be adharmi, unrighteous, not to lie, cheat, steal, hurt. So basic things. Okay. So another question?
Jay?
No? Jay?
Jay? He raised his hand.
Jay, you have a question?
Yeah.
Comment?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You have to get closer to your mic.
Hello?
Yeah, get a little closer. Yeah, can't hear you. He's sitting outside, looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you, Jay. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. Sorry, there was some problem there. I was looking at the verse 12, 0, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and trying to equate 8 to Jnana Yoga, and 9 to Bhakti, and 10 for Karma Yoga.
Uh-huh.
But here it talks about 4, and over there 3 paths. So that's, I was not trying, I don't know if I did that right. Is that a right way of looking at it.
Yeah, no, it is like in the 8, what he's saying, sure, it's a just a complete surrender. That's what he's saying in 8.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
mind and intellect, when we both can absorb in God, that's the one path. He says this is the best. So it's not a bhakti yoga, gyan yoga, karam yoga, no. He's just telling us if you can do this, this is good. And if you cannot do it, practice doing it.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you cannot practice this, if you really cannot absorb your mind and intellect in God, then at least do your actions for Him.
Right. Right.
Okay. So
Okay.
that is beyond karam yoga. And then if you cannot even do this, then do the karam yoga. So these are 4 different ways to achieve the perfection. So it's not a bhakti yoga, karam yoga, gyan yoga, no. He's just going through some of it, which he talked about in the previous chapters. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. So
Right,
guidelines for us to move towards the perfection.
Thank you.
So don't get too confused. Just write them down in just in simple terms, what he's saying.
Okay.
The best is absorb your mind and intellect, but some people cannot do that. Then start practicing. If you are doing it sometimes here and there, practice doing it more and more.
Okay. Thank you.
And a person who can do it has already climbed on the other 2, doing it for God and let go of the selfishness. Those qualities are already in that person, because those were the lower ladders. You can absorb your mind and intellect only if you don't have any selfishness in you. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So he's just saying that wherever your aptitude is, according to that, start working on yourself and start getting better. That's all he's saying.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Kim. Jonathan?
No, me. So in 12.11, we said that the very minimum we have to do is renounce the fruit of all actions.
Yes.
But you said that we keep wasting our energy on the fruit and our mind is preoccupied and agitated. So in practice, the part where I struggle is my mind is always, it's so often in the future or in the past, and in the future and in the past there's a story that the mind can latch onto, but in the present it's very difficult to find something to focus on in the present throughout the day.
In present, whatever you are doing, focus on that, because you're always doing something.
Yes.
Because
yes.
Even if you say, no, I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting, you're sitting. Sit beautifully. If you're sleeping, only sleep. If you're eating, only eat. If you're talking, only talk. Just stay focused in the present and do the best you can, because pretty soon present is going to become past. Okay, so right now you can make a change only in the present. So this is the practice a yogi does. Okay, so control your mind not to worry about the future and not to dwell on the past. This is the training we need to do with our mind. And if you say, I cannot do it, I'll say, do it. As a teacher, I'll tell you, just work on it. This is your job. You got to work harder, whatever it takes. Okay, in old times, the meditation when they did, they were told not to get up from their seat for 4 hours. And if you fall asleep, what do? They will even tie their top of, they had like a hair tie the hair with the rope on the ceiling so that they don't fall. Sleep. Because when they go like this, there'll be a pull. So they'll get up again. So this is the practice. We got to intensify our practice. I'm not saying start doing that, but whatever it takes. If you fall asleep, find a time when you can meditate better. The more you meditate, the more you will learn how to be in the present. This meditation is not to please God. This is meditation is to keep yourself still, to keep yourself well controlled. See, people have lost the real meaning of meditation actually. That's the problem. If you meditate, you will see that the effect of that meditation is in our other areas also. So a person who meditates every day will definitely can stay in the present, can concentrate better, health will improve, all these things fall into place. So be firm in your meditation. That's what I would suggest, Kim, okay? Yeah. Anybody else? Yes, Jonathan.
I'm definitely on the lowest rung of the ladder, but is it still good for me to be aware and practice the other three rungs? Like
yes.
I've noticed. Okay.
Yes, you can still practice those, but pay more attention to the very first.
Okay.
Because until you are firm in the first one, you cannot climb on the next one. Okay, we don't want to keep on jumping up and up. We got to be firmly established. Get rid of the selfishness. And selfishness means I'm going to work hard, do the best I can. But there's no selfish motive. Okay, so definitely work on that and keep an eye and keep practicing, because meditation is abhyas, is the practice. You will be doing that also, but more emphasis on the first step. Okay, anybody else?
Nope. Time for Kirtan.
Okay, all right. Many, if you can just have a little Kirtan, and after the Kirtan, if you have any question, discussion, we can still, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Okay.
Krishna Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Krishna Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Krishna Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Krishna Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Krishna Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Krishna Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Hey Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Hey Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Hey Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Hey Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Gopal Nandalal, hey Gopal Nandalal. Govind Govind Gopal Nandalal. Krishna Govind हम प्रेम नगर की बंजारन हम प्रेम नगर की बंजारन जप तप और साधन क्या जाने जप तप और साधन क्या जाने हम शाम के नाम की दीवानी व्रत नेम के बंधन क्या जाने हम ब्रिज की भोरी ग्वालनिया हम ब्रिज की भोरी ग्वालनिया ब्रह्म ज्ञान की उलझन क्या जाने ब्रह्म ज्ञान की उलझन क्या जाने ये प्रेम की बातें हैं ऊधो ये प्रेम की बातें हैं ऊधो कोई क्या समझे कोई क्या जाने मेरे और मोहन की बातें या मैं जानूं या वो जाने हे गोविंद
Thank you. Beautiful. Benny, can you send that to me? It's a beautiful bhajan.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yes.
very touching, very beautiful. I'm sure most of you can understand the wordings also. So Uddhav.
Me too, Maniji, Manju.
Please, me too.
Okay, Manjuji.
Send it to all.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Well,
What?
all the fathers have a wonderful Father's Day. Okay, happy Father's Day.
Happy
And
Father's Day.
if
Father's
you've
Day.
done yoga today, that's great. But if you have not done it, please do a few posture thanking God to making this International Yoga Day also for us.
Oh yeah, today is international.
Everybody
Yeah, today is a yoga day. So
Yeah.
do some posture, some breathings, some meditation. That's all yoga. Okay, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. I love you.
Thank you.
I love you too, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Some of
Love you guys.
हर्ष
Thank you, Hersh.
बहुत धन्यवाद इतने इम्पोर्टेंट दिन में भी सबको टाइम देने का बहुत बहुत
हाँ?
धन्यवाद इतना
क्या?
इम्पोर्टेंट है बच्चे आ रहे हैं आपके पास खाना बनाना है सब कुछ करना है फिर भी आपने हमको
Yeah.
टाइम दिया
Thank
No,
you.
no, no. My life is for you guys. So no, yeah.
थैंक यू
Thank you.
I enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
we love you
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Hershey. Shubh
I
bol
love
rahi
you
hu.
guys too.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hersh.
Thank you, Rani. Thank you.
See you guys, everybody.
Bye.
बाय
Bye.
Yeah, Gina, sorry about missing the class Friday. So we can make it up some other day if you want to.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna email you. I have some questions about some
Yeah,
things.
please. Yeah, email or call me. That's fine too.
Okay.
I mean, kids are coming, but I think in the evening I have time. So if you wanna call me, I'm sure you're busy too.
Yeah,
So-
I have to get. We're gonna have a little.
Yeah.
little
Yeah, but
cookout
we'll
this afternoon.
definitely. But last week Mike had to just take me to the bank, so
Yeah, no, that's okay.
couldn't change that.
That's okay.
These days, in the bank also you got to get the appointment.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
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 So that's what it was. So
I will wait for you.
Gina, I just wanted to let you know that we managed to do the respond letter on that subscribe
Great.
on the website. So
I'm
that's all
feeling
set up.
warm, Aruna. That's why I took that off.
What was it?
It was
So it's
hot.
all set up.
Normally, I don't wear this, but I was covering myself, but I was feeling so hot. It's really, I mean, sun is
It's really warm out today.
very, very warm. Inside, it's outside. I'm sure it's pleasant today. Sorry, Jean, Jyoti, what were you saying?
No, that's okay. I was just saying that our website, you know, when people subscribe, we were having the problem of the getting respond letter. So that's now done.
Okay. It is
People are
done?
getting a response, yeah.
Oh, okay. And I see that there are a lot more subscribers coming.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
A lot of people automatically they are subscribing also, which is good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there a
I had one of my clients, I told them about the ashram and
okay. All right.
signed up.
We have Mahendra Bhai. Mahendra
Hello,
Bhai.
Mahendra Bhai, नमस्ते. आपसे बहुत मिले नहीं आपसे. आप कैमरा ऑन नहीं करते तो नजर नहीं आते.
नहीं, आवाज नहीं ऑन उनके. Audio is off. Turn the audio on, Mahendra Bhai.
Hello, Kim. Gina. Gina बिटिया.
Hello, happy Father's Day, Mike.
Mike, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Jyoti. आप पे कौन है? Oh, ये अच्छा, ये हर्ष है. मजाक कर.
I'm your better half.
Happy Father's Day.
Hello, thank you. Same to you.
Hello. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Whoever is father.
Oh, Mahendra,
Yeah, whoever is the father, that's right.
Yeah. I have one question.
Sure.
This is related to Gita, but I have noticed whenever we go to the funeral, we always recite chapter 12, which is the Bhakti Yoga, and chapter 15, which is Purushottam Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any significance to this particular chapter for that purpose?
Actually, most of the time, chapter 12 is not being recited. Chapter 15 is Purushottam Yoga. Because that's like but if somebody does, it really means that this was the goal of our life. It's a reminder to the people who are left behind that this is the goal. Through bhakti, connect with God. And Purushottam Yoga is, everything is God actually. Okay. So yeah, 12 I have not seen, but maybe some people do. I think you can, I have seen even in the second chapter people recite the Sankhya Yoga. So that gives us the knowledge.
I was just wondering, where is there any significance?
There's no significance. No, 12, that's the only thing I can think of. Anybody who started doing it, that means the people who are left behind. It's not for the person who's gone. The person is gone with his own karmas. So people who are left behind, that, hey, this is the goal of life. Try doing it now.
And one place I even saw that chapter 10. So
chapter 10 also, really?
Yeah.
Vibhuti Yoga?
Vibhuti Yoga. Okay. So in other words, any chapter you are connecting with God and bringing some peace inside you, right? But traditionally, it's a chapter 15 though. Purushottam Yoga. Yeah, that's more likely by at least the North India. Maybe different parts of India, they have a different custom, right? Ritual Banjar.
Gujaratis, I have always seen 12 and 15.
15 and 15 is 15 and 12, they both are shorter chapters too. They both have 20 verses. So it's easier for people.
12th is not.
12th is only, chapter 12, 20 verses only. Yeah, so it's easy to finish 20 verses versus some of the chapter got like 72 verses.
Yeah.
Jada time lagega.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody in the back of somebody's mind that, hey.
Now I was just find out what the significance.
Yeah, no, I think there's no deep significance. It's just remembering God and finding peace. That's all.
The way I look at it, you take it any chapter, when you read it, it looks like this is all the chapter you need. You don't need anything else. Just follow one chapter, that chapter, and you're going to connect God if you follow it properly. So
far, I have noticed that you start with the Karma Yoga, you ascend it, and in this chapter, you are going from everything to last to karma.
Yes.
So,
yes.
That's so ascending right. And descending.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So we'll try to finish this chapter next week, hopefully, because there's a lot of terminology, a lot to understand. So, and then practice. Yes, Kim, you have a question?
Hershey, I wanted to remind you, so I was watching a recording of an older class, and in that class you promised that you would show us some pranayams in the meditation class that help you control hunger and thirst. Do you remember when you mentioned that?
I thought I did.
Yeah, you did that.
She did. She did. Maybe you weren't there that Wednesday. It was on a Wednesday. One of the Wednesday recordings. Yeah.
Okay, I've missed a lot of the Wednesday.
Yeah,
I
just
think if
maybe
it's a-
you can go back to
If
that.
there's a recorded version, then you could probably look
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you also
And Kim,
Hershey, you also promised me that you would talk about the ego. You would do like a class about ego, surrendering.
Oh, ego I will. Yes, definitely. That I got note. Ego, I will talk about. Anger, I'll talk about.
Okay.
Desires, I'll talk about. I'm going to have like a general topics. Once we are done with these particular meditations, like this next week meditation, we're going to practice chakra meditation, and I'm going to talk about Bhut Shuddhi. So that is next Wednesday. So maybe a Wednesday after that, we can talk, I'll talk about ego.
I'm sorry, what is Bhut Shuddhi?
Bhut means these elements in our body, how to clean the elements in our body, the earth element, the water element.
Shuddhi means cleanse.
Cleansing of these elements in our body. Okay. So through meditation, with the energy, not, see, normally we clean our body with the water or with the pranayam. So this is a cleansing with the through meditation. So I'm going to talk about and practice also, and then so that is next week. Next week is about meditation on the chakras. But then general topics.
but it'll be on Wednesdays. It'll be
Okay,
on
all right,
Wednesdays.
Mahendraji, bye-bye. Have a good day.
Okay, Mahendraji. Yeah, today's kids are coming today, right?
Yeah, they
And
should be
Kim,
here
thank
in a
you
minute.
for the recording. I got it.
Oh, okay.
Worked perfectly, yeah.
Oh, great.
I was able to upload and put it up. Thank you.
Okay. That's
All
great.
right.
All right. Namaste, everybody. I am
Namaste.
going to
Bye-bye,
leave
Gina.
you.
Bye-bye,
Bye,
Kim.
Kim. Bye, Gina.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Jyoti.
Bye. Bye. Bye,
That's
Mike.
Gina.
Om looks good on your shirt. That's really looks
Today is
good.
Om Day.
Yesterday when Dia came in the class, in the kids class, Kim was in the class too. So right away she said, "There's a corona in the ashram. How come she's in the ashram?"
Because there's a picture of ashram in the back, so it looks like you are in the ashram.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to be in the ashram.
These kids are really.
Because this picture does look very real though.
Yeah, it's a bit
You know?
clear picture.
Yeah.
Well, you are in it all the time anyway.
I think I'm going to ask Naveen if he can put this picture or some other picture. I mean, if he can put some other picture, even then I can have this picture also.
Yeah. Next time I'll look at your computer, you know, and see if it's possible, you know.
Okay.
Like
Today Naveen is coming. Let me ask him if he can.
Kim will do it. Kim is here all the time.
Yeah, but
Kim, you are here, so you can help us all the time.
Yeah.
Naveen comes only once a week.
No, but only
like
thing
this.
is that there's no internet outside.
Yeah. Look at you.
You have to just get the
Yeah.
picture and project
I'm
it.
trying, but somehow there's something that's missing on my computer.
Yeah, your face doesn't show. That's right.
No.
And I think
Has to
mine
be-
was doing the same thing. When I tried to do it, it was doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
I read up on it, it says that we have to have a green screen.
Yeah, you need a green.
ability
Yeah, green
in the-
screen.
in the- yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't.
Because Sai
that
was trying to
version.
help me. Sai was saying the same thing.
Sai is 6 years old.
Sai
I can
was
do
saying
it.
the same
Oh
thing.
yeah,
my God.
yeah. Sai was telling me, Nini, you need the green screen.
Yeah,
Oh my
on the computers that are a few years old, then you need the green screen. You know, this computer I'm using right now is brand new.
Oh, okay.
Oh, must be the age of the computer.
It's time.
Okay.
Okay,
All
we have to
right.
go. Looks like the kids are.
Okay.
You guys have a good
Almost
day.
there.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
See
Bye.
you
We'll see you
tomorrow.
then.
See you
See
tomorrow.
you. I'll see you Tuesday.
Huh?
Oh
I'll
yeah,
see
I
you
will
on
see you
Tuesday.
Monday. Yeah, right. I'll
I'll
see you
see you Tuesday.
Tuesday. That's right.
All
That's
right.
right. I'll
Bye.
see you Tuesday.
Have a
How
nice
is it
weekend.
going? How's the work going?
Good, good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Good.
yeah. I'm seeing few people at a time, not many,
Yeah.
but you know, I have to get them in.
Okay.
So,
Good.
yeah.
Good. Good. Good.
Thank you.
All right. Huh? Okay. Bye
All
bye.
right. Namaste. Bye.